how female dating strategies or long-term relationship strategies change between age 20 and age 30. This is a pretty simple one, man. In their 20s, women chase the guys with all the options. They chase the highest value male. Hypergamy is still in full effect. The difference is that women in their 20s, their hypergamy is not strictly for security and a guy who has resources, although they do like that. It's not quite the same when they're younger. When they're younger, they go after personality, they go after masculinity, they go after a guy with a great body, they go after looks, mostly. They usually don't go after guys with a whole lot of money unless they just want the money for themselves, to go shopping or whatever, because they will go on, sugar daddy websites. They will, become escorts or things like that because they just want the money. They don't want the guy plus the money. They don't want the guy with the money until they're in their 30s and they actually want to settle down, right? Because when they get older, they hit the wall, meaning they start to lose their looks. And women know this better than anyone, that their looks are currency and their looks will fade. And women know this better than anyone. Or they become a single mom, they get pregnant, then their whole imperative changes, their whole goals and ambition changes. Everything is focused around their child, and then they want a man who will stick around, right? Then they choose the nice guy who won't cheat, as the long-term strategy, right? So it switches, say age 20 to 30, all those years she's out riding the cock carousel. She wants to get pumped and dumped. She wants raunchy sex. She wants to explore her sexuality. Oftentimes she will jump in and out of, bisexual relationships. She'll have one night stands. She'll have guys run trains on her. She'll do porn. She'll explore all these things because she doesn't really have any barriers to that. She doesn't have a kid. She's still young and fertile, and she looks good. She doesn't have to worry about, her eggs lessening, right? But at a certain age, she realizes, oh shoot, I gotta settle down now. I can't be doing this anymore. And this is what I call the quote unquote, I need a real man phase, right? Some people call it the epiphany phase, where she realizes she can't ride the cock carousel forever. A lot of them know that. A lot of them know that when they're young, and they think, well, I'm going to have my fun now, but some of them really do believe that it's going to last forever, and it doesn't. And then they hit the epiphany phase, where they're like, oh shit, guys aren't checking for me like they used to. Guys aren't, beating down my door like they used to. Guys aren't sending me all these messages like they used to. Yeah, she will always have. I mean, the power of sex is incredible. The power of female sexuality is incredible. Women who are even ugly and old, they still have guys beating down their door for sex, and it sucks. And that's where guys need to really, wake up. Stop giving her so much power. But I don't think that'll ever happen. I think it's only going to get worse, and it only has gotten worse with social media. It actually, there was once upon a time it was better. Now it's so saturated. Social media, the internet, dating sites, it's so saturated that they believe they're absolute queens. They believe they're absolute, pedestals of idolatry, of worship, really, at this point in the game. But they're they're still human, and they still want to settle down. They still want their version of love. It's always a solipsistic type of love, right? Everything they do is for selfish purposes, whether it's riding the cock carousel, or whether it's to have a baby, or whether it's to have a family. It's always for selfish purposes. It's never to love a man. It's never to really, I mean, yes, they do love their children. The Bible says that a woman will be saved through childbearing. I mean, that's a messed up thing. You got to think about, the implications there. A woman will be saved through childbearing. I mean, what does that say about female nature right there? I mean, this is God saying this. This isn't Paul or Peter or any of the apostles or any of the prophets in the Old Testament. This is God saying that. God in the book of Genesis, right? I mean, Moses wrote the book of Genesis, but he was speaking God's words. So God said this: a child will be or excuse me, a woman will be saved through childbirth. It doesn't say what she's saved for, but we can kind of fill in the blanks. We can kind of figure out what she'll be saved from, I should say. Saved from herself, saved from her whorishness, saved from her solipsistic nature. You know, the Bible says we shouldn't fornicate and all these things, but look at women. Look at what they're out doing. A woman will be saved through childbirth. I don't know, man. It's some messed up shit. Why did God make them like that? He didn't have to make them like that, but it must be some kind of biological imperative, because if women were like men, then maybe they would be out, maybe nothing would get done. Maybe everybody would be out fornicating. I don't know, but they're already doing that. They're already out fornicating, so you can't win either way, man. Women are not like men. They don't love like men do. In fact, it's an interesting question whether women love at all. A woman's love is opportunistic. A woman's love is based, on her hypergamy and her dating strategy. And hypergamy is mixed into this dating strategy. She always wants the highest value male, whether it's for all the things that she wants in her 20s or whether it's for, what she wants in her 30s. And, when she's in her 20s, you got to question, does she really even want love, or does she just want the highest value male? She chases the guy with the most masculinity, the guys with the most muscles, the guy this, that, and then she gets mad when he cheats on her, which makes no sense, right? And then when she's in her 30s, again, she wants that docile, steady beta man, the guy with the resources, because she knows that he's predictable and he won't give her trouble. And he'll stick around when she gets pregnant and when she loses her looks and when she gets fat. He'll stick around because he loves her and he's predictable, and she's picked the sucker, right? She's picked the sucker, and she knows that she doesn't have to keep up with anything. Now, a lot of times where they come into problems is when guys do have standards and when guys aren't suckers, and when guys, maybe they really love her at first, but then she loses her looks, or maybe she doesn't keep up her appearance and she gains 20 pounds. And then it's like, well, you know what? I'm not as attracted to you as I used to be, so I'm gonna step out on you. And then she gets upset, and then she feels betrayed and blah, blah, blah. But she conveniently skips over all the times that she cheated when she was younger. She conveniently skips over all the times that she betrayed a man when she was younger, when the man didn't make enough money, or he wasn't popular enough, or he was just too needy and liked her too much. She conveniently skips over all that, and she doesn't even look at it like, oh, hey, it's karma, right? And yet the whole world stops and thinks, oh, well, we got to make sure these women have good husbands, right? But nobody cares about the man who doesn't have a good wife, right? This is the double standard, right? This is the double standard. So everything they do is for selfish purposes, not love. You could argue that love doesn't even exist, or at least their version of love is not a quality version. It's a very solipsistic, selfish version of love, right? And they always achieve their short-term or long-term dating purposes through manipulation. It's always through manipulation, right? They gotta use sex to get what they want, and this is how they manipulate. They know that men want them. They know that men, chase after them, and this is how they manipulate men, through the use of sex, right? There's an old saying that goes, men use relationships to get sex, and women use sex to get relationships. And that's true to a good degree, right? But anyway, I just want to talk about that for a minute. These are the real difference between a woman, her dating strategy and her dating imperative in her 20s and her 30s. It definitely changes. Once she hits 30, she realizes she hits the wall. She realizes that her time is short. Her eggs are going away. She wants to have kids, so she's got to find that high, quote unquote, high quality man who's docile enough and beta enough not to cheat on her. So at first, she chooses the guy who's highly sought after, right? And then she gets cheated on, and she gets mad and blah blah blah. Or maybe she doesn't even get mad, right? Like a lot of girls these days are content with even just being a side hoe for a high value, high quality man. But as they get older, they don't want to get cheated on, or at least they want the guy to stick around. That's the number one imperative. Even if the guy steps out and cheats, at least he sticks around, because he has to be the provider. He has to stick around and be the provider, and he has to be there, because this is her imperative. It's more important to her that the guy is a high resource earner, and he is steady in the sense that he sticks around than it is that he's good looking, or he's, in shape, or he's masculine. Even they will definitely drop certain characteristics that they want in a man, such as masculinity, alpha characteristics, good looks, in shape. They'll drop those things as long as the guy is steady and makes good money. Right? They will drop those characteristics for that. The number one imperative that women want as they age and as they get older is consistency. They want the guy to be consistent, and they want him to be docile, and they want him to have resources, and they want him to be a safe bet, right? This is what they want as they get older. It's not about love. This is their imperative, because they want that lifestyle. They'll choose the guy with the best lifestyle they can, but most of all, they want security. They want the guy who's not going to leave them, and they want the guy who is steady, making good money. So maybe he's not the richest guy, maybe he's not the best looking guy, maybe he's not the most in shape guy, but he is steady, and he's good enough to, in the sense that he's good in the sense that he is going to be faithful to her, right? Because they want predictability. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. They need that steady guy, predictable, and he needs to be not, quote unquote, such a philanderer or whatever, that he's cheating on her all the time, in the sense that he will leave her. In fact, she might not even care that he cheats, just so long as he doesn't leave her, because that's what they want. They want the security above all after they hit 30. When they're younger, then it's a different imperative, and they get mad when they get cheated on, whatever. Some of them do. A lot of them these days don't even get mad anymore. It's because it's all in the game. They cheat. The guy cheats. Everyone cheats, because it's just a whole different ball game. And there's different values now. There's different morals now. But once they get older, once they hit the wall, once they want those kids, then they need the steady, predictable guy. All right. I'm going to leave it there. Appreciate you listening to Jay Lee Northwest Podcast. Peace.